Trade Justice New York Metro is a coalition of over 60 organizations from diverse social movements in the New York metropolitan area, united in opposition to unfair trade deals like the TPP. This summer, we are campaigning to expose the Obama administration's cynical upgrade of Malaysia in the Trafficking in Persons report, a State Department report exposing the worst of the worst nations on human trafficking. Malaysia is a TPP member nation, and human rights groups charge that Malaysia was upgraded from Tier 3 to Tier 2 this summer in order to circumvent a rule that prevents trade agreements with Tier 3 nations from being fast-tracked through Congress. Fast-track is a procedure that allows trade agreements to be rushed with no amendments in Congress, with a limit of 60 days for the House to vote on trade agreements and 90 in the Senate, and perhaps most outrageously, with a limit of 20 hours of debate in each House, meaning that Congress is not even allowed to take the time to fully understand what it is they are voting on. This is exactly how President Obama wants TPP to be voted on. He realizes that carefully debating this agreement, that giving Congress the ability to amend some of the worst language in this agreement might spell the doom of this trade deal. So in order to fast-track TPP, they moved Malaysia from Tier 3 to Tier 2, despite the fact that just recently mass graves of trafficked persons were uncovered in Malaysia, and a number of human trafficking camps were actually discovered on the Malaysia-Thai border. Human rights should not be put aside in the interest of advancing free trade deals. And so we call on our elected officials to call out this outrage. Representative Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut has introduced a resolution demanding that Malaysia be moved back to Tier 3 and challenging the cynical move compromising human rights in the interest of corporate profits. We call on our legislators to support her resolution, and we call on all of you to meet with your local Brooklyn reps and ask them to support Representative DeLauro's resolution. My colleague Wendy will be passing around a form letter that you can sign that will be delivered to your member of Congress. We also ask you to fill in your your contact information on these form letters so that we can contact you when we've scheduled a meeting with your member of Congress and invite you to join us at that meeting to let your member know why you as a local Brooklynite feel that human rights should be more important than corporate profits and that we should not be doctoring State Department reports in order to produce outcomes favorable to corporate interests when that undermines our credibility in standing for human rights. So we'd like to invite you to join us in this fight. Trade Justice New York Metro has our next meeting this Saturday at noon at 60 Wall Street in Manhattan. We also this Sunday have a webinar that we'll be holding as part of the national TPP team. This is a national series of educational webinars talking about how the intellectual property chapter of TPP threatens to undermine access to medicines and internet freedom. This chapter was just recently leaked by an organization called Knowledge Ecology International, and we'll be having the director of that organization speaking to us and letting us know what we learned from this leak. We also, on Wednesday evenings, participate in national organizing calls, where you can plug into a national movement to find out what our overall agenda must be to stop the TPP. You can find out about these and other events by going to tradejustice.net and clicking on the upcoming events tab, or by signing those form letters, and we'll be happy to get in touch with you. And please also talk to my colleague Wendy and some of the other people at this event tonight who are participants in our coalition. Stephanie and Joel would be happy to tell you more as well about Trade Justice New York Metro. If your organization would like to join this coalition, we would be delighted to have you. As I said, we are a coalition of organizations, and we believe that our social movements are stronger when we come together. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us this evening. Together, we will stop the TPP.